Meta Championship Series number 2, September 9th, 1 p.m. EST, 64 King of Game players, double elimination, 2 decks, different characters and skills for both. Each player must win with both decks to win a match. The total prize pool is starting out at $1,260. Donations during the event go towards the prize. At the moment, first place is to win $567, with 5th through 8th winning $37. Our sponsors are Justin Taylor for $500 and X Knight Raider X for $120. Watch the tournament live at Twitch TV/DuelLinksMeta. The first Meta Championship Series I successfully ran was the biggest Duel Links event for cash, and we are already more than double that before even starting. And here's a preview of the first Meta Championship Series that we ran. Alright, so starting off here, the announcement for the Meta Championship Series 2. This is a link to the Meta Championship Series number 1. So for the Meta Championship Series number 1, we had a successful tournament, 32 players. July 22nd, got sphered, got first place in the tournament, almost $500 prize support. This was the top 8 breakdown back in July 22nd. Here were the sponsors for the tournament. First place got sphered. This is a link to the match if you missed it. He won with his control balance deck. Ever since he won with this deck, I believe it had a major impact on the meta. Second place was a standard Red Eyes Zombie beatdown by Korean player SUK. And we had another Red Eyes beatdown. And then fourth place was a Zombie Gemini deck. What is my plan with the future Meta Championship Series? My plan is to continue to increase the player cap, invite more players, to continue to grow the competitive community. The Meta Championship Series means a lot to me, guys. Just like the Meta Championship Series number 1, I will be hosting the deck list onto my website for the Meta Championship Series number 2. So if you miss out on the tournament, make sure to visit the website and I will update it as soon as I can, and also post feature matches including the finals and deck lists onto my YouTube. On the Duel Links Meta Discord, we have 428 members who reached King of Games in August, and many have already reached King of Games in September. If you are not a part of the Discord, I'm going to give you a little preview of the decks that have already reached King of Games in September. Now let's move on to the September King of Game deck list. What has been hitting King of Games so far into September? So let's go to the tab King of Games, Decks September, and we'll scroll to the top. Here we go, we have Nyx at Friday, September 1st. He hit King of Games with his Mausoleum Destiny Draw deck. If you haven't heard of Nyx, Nyx has won my official first subscriber tournament on Twitch, and he quickly achieved King of Games with his Mausoleum deck, similar to the one he used in the subscriber tournament, the main difference being that he added an emergency provisions. So he said, pretty standard Mausoleum deck, except I subbed in an emergency provisions to counter Phoenix users, and it worked well. Opponent summons Phoenix, I get rid of all my spells and gain health. If they destroyed my Aegis, the provisions help prevent dying as well. Also, thank you to all the Red Eyes tryhards, you really made it easy for me to run through Plat and Legend. To follow up from there, also on September 1st, we have Masaryk. He hit King of Games with his standard Red Eyes Zombie deck. Now the big difference here is he is using Yugi's new skill, the Tie That Binds. This is not Beatdown, it is similar to Beatdown. What does Tie That Binds do? It gives you plus 100 attack per monster you control, once per turn until the end phase. So instead of needing a level 5 or higher monster, you could normal summon a Gazuki and boost it up to 1800 attack. You could normal summon a Wyvern and boost it to 1900 attack. And you could still swing over your opponent's 2400 attack monsters with a single Red Eyes Zombie on the field. Now, if you're playing against a Red Eyes beatdown deck, if you're playing the Yugi ability, the Tie That Binds, you will have an advantage in that matchup. Beatdown is still a very valuable skill for other decks where your Red Eye Zombie needs to reach that 2700 attack mark or reach that 3k attack mark. Usually the Red Eye Zombie needs to reach 3k to deal with other Blue Eyes White Dragons, or reach that 3k attack to deal with Invader of Darkness. So Masterix says, classic Red Eyes deck list, both the specific addition of Yugimoto's skill, the tie that binds. I believe Red Eyes does well better with that skill, especially against control decks and even in mirror matches. With this, Wyvern gets to at least 1900 and beats the likes of Heavy Knight, Yaksha, and of course other Wyverns. It is important to notice the minimum 100 attack bonus is enough for your Red Eyes to beat any other 2400 attack beatstick, including Phoenix and other Red Eyes. I didn't encounter many cases where beatdown was better. And to follow up with that, we have 12 with his Ice Barrier deck, Duel Standby. Many people usually use Ice Barriers with balance. He is using it with Duel Standby. He won a weekly Duel Links Pro tournament with this deck, and he achieved King of Games very quickly with this. To go over quickly what he says, the Ice Barrier deck is good and it works. Some people got KoG last season with my exact build above. I tried it early season to see if the fast games and fast wins were possible because I knew this destroys fairly early / late season. His bad matchups, he says, are Fiends because of Sphere Kribo and Necrofear, Ninjas because the traps are annoying, they remove your target, Handless only if they run Dimension Gate, and Last Gamble Kribo. He said he played against a Multiply and Detonate, which cleared his entire board. Scary, but if they don't have OTK, it's super easy to recover. And Phoenix was also a tough matchup, only if they have Sphere Kribo. Otherwise, it's a super clean OTK. You can read the rest about his Ice Barrier deck in the Ice Barrier channel of the Discord. He has written quite a lot. He also included videos. Moving on to KO. KO is the current king of the Discord. He ran a standard Red Eyes beatdown zombie deck. He says I made my Red Eyes deck more defensive than the typical one which I ran. I dropped 2 anti-magic arrows and a goblin zombie. Works really well in mirror matches, especially versus balanced Red Eyes. I was tired of getting cucked to a simple econ play, but now I have a lot more answers. And now we have Look at God's Toon deck list with Toon Barrel Dragon. He includes a match of his final match to KoG. He uses Mecha Phantom Beast Hamstrat and 3 Toon Barrel Dragons. Very interesting deck. And he says he will do a write-up later, which you will be able to find in the Toon deck type channel. Now let's move on to Toxicology's deck list, who is also using Toon Barrel Dragon. He has a quick write-up document here that you could follow if you were in the Discord. And he also has a YouTube video off of the original idea you could watch. Moving on, Harambe with his Destiny Draw Mausoleum deck. Guys, this deck is a sleeper hit. Many people are not expecting this. This deck, I'm not going to say came out of nowhere, but it came out of nowhere, guys. I'm going to take the f out. This deck pretty much came out of nowhere. It's been a pretty competitive deck, but I feel like it is proving itself as a top-tier deck. Harambe says Metalmorph is essentially a surprise game-winning version of Wonder Balloons without the discard. Invader plus Metal plus Fang equal 2k damage to a Red Eyes, and they need 3 Red Eyes on the field to beat down over it. It could also protect an Invader from Lava Golem, so you have the added option to send their dangerous monsters, Toons, Gale Lizard, Guardian Statue, possibly Psychokinesis plays, etc. to the grave. No one's expecting Metalmorph when attacking an Invader, so they will happily swing with Lava Golem. Moving on, we have Tom V. Delzin. He says, best deck in the game at the moment, easy king of games. He achieved it with 82 victories. He has a standard Red Eyes zombie beatdown deck. Moving on to Y Bona's deck, he achieved King of Games with Psychics. This is another new deck that is possibly going to make it on the top tier deck list on the Discord. So far, it is listed as a competitive deck. What a competitive deck means, it means that most players should reach Legend with the deck early into the season. A top deck is listed in the Discord as a deck that most players should reach King of Games with early into a season. Y Bonus says I hit KoG with my Psychics today, and have done a ridiculously overlong write-up here talking about all the individual cards and matchups. I have done this because I would like to get a deck expert role for Psychics, but also because I want to shine some light on some of the most overlooked anti-meta decks right now. I don't expect anyone to read the whole report because it got way too long, but if it helps anybody or any part of it gets more people using Psychics, then I'll be happy. Here's the list. And there is the write-up that you could read on the Discord. And here's a little preview of the sidebar. We have new decks where we're discussing plants through Exodia. We have the top deck discussions. The top decks we have listed are Control, Ninjas, Phoenix, and Red Eyes. Then we have competitive decks, Gravekeepers, all the way through Zombies, Gemini. And then we have other decks. We try our best to keep the top and competitive deck section as updated as possible. In order to participate in the discussion for top and competitive decks, you must at least be Legend, but if you are not Legend, you are still able to view the discussions normally. A quick little preview of clicking on a top deck. Let's click on Phoenix Nephis. We have players discussing the deck, and also you can click on the pinned messages to see relevant information. Here's Ross with his many tips and gameplay on how to play the deck. I'll scroll through these real quick. Guys, as you can clearly see, the Discord is highly competitive, highly passionate players. If you're not in the Discord, you are truly missing out on a ton of deck discussions and great players and tips from all around the best of the community. And here are ways you could join.